All right, I'm live. Hold on. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Look at much my hair grew, man. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Grand Friday episode 15. That's how I feel on a Friday. I'm off work. We needed a vibe. I don't know what I'm missing, but hey, we'll have fun. Hope everybody enjoyed their Friday. It's beautiful outside. Hopefully you off work. So yeah, that's how I feel like introing this episode 15 of the Grand Fridays. I am GrandZ. Shout out to YouTube viewers. Shout out to everybody who hops on and off the live on Facebook. I'm in the process of creating a Facebook page regarding just everything in general that I do, not specifically for the Grand Fridays, but at least a page where these are accessible and all the other stuff that I want to start posting now on Facebook. So like I said, I'm trying to get back into revamping and getting stuff together when it comes to this space. Like I said, I'm normally in the shadows type of person, but I think it's time to start putting some stuff out there to show you what I've been doing with my life and all of that good stuff. So like I said, I'm working on revamping pages and things of that nature, or business pages that I have. So I'm in that. But before I jump into all of that, happy Friday. Hopefully this was a good week for you. This week kind of blew by for me. So it's always good when a week fly by with no issues, no problems, and even no passings. So I'm not hopping on here with anybody that passed. So that's always good. But it's Friday, man. Cheers to the weekend. Cheers to you. It's Crown. I just was like, sometimes on these Fridays, I don't really be having nothing to talk about. I'm gonna be honest. Like some Fridays I be having stuff to talk about because maybe something happened in the world that's important to mention, or maybe I done did a lot. But like when the week goes by fast and you busy, you really don't have much to talk about. But I feel like, my mom always said I'm a talker, so I'll figure out something to speak about. The reason why I initially played Forget Me Nots is I did see on social media, and what's going around is everybody who watched this movie on Netflix called Fatal Affair. That movie is one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. And probably because, they've seen that movie 9, 10, 15 times, especially in the last 10 years. Like you can name name a few movies that's in the same ballpark with a crazy, a wholesome, a person who's has a family. So this is always going to be the basis of this storyline, is that you got a person who has a family. So it doesn't matter if it's the male or the female as the quote unquote protagonist. It's just going to be a male and a male or a female who has a family. Then in this plot, you're going to have a person who looks like a normal person, but they crazy as hell. Like that's essentially what this storyline is in the movie Fatal Affair. And you just seen this movie like a million times. You've seen this movie, like just to name a few movies. You've seen Obsessed, starring Idris Elba and Beyonce. You've seen this movie with Lakeview Terrace that had Samuel L. Jackson, and was that Kerry Washington as the... Yeah, I believe it's Kerry Washington was the wife. Sorry, I'm escaping the husband's name in that movie, but he's been in a lot of movies too. Whatever movie with Michael Ealy where he was crazy, it's just the same storyline. The movie with Taraji, it was I think it was a Tyler Perry movie. Yeah, that movie, I didn't see it, but I know the storyline or the plot. Like I said, these movies all have the same storylines and plots. So Fatal Affair Fatal Affair was just terrible. So we watched Fatal Affair at Sunday morning. I just was like, I'm thinking like, hey, it's Omar Epps. Now, people who don't know Omar Epps, this is GQ. You know what I'm saying? This is, Big Mike from the Wood. This is, what I'm saying? What else was something that he, what was his name in Quentin McCall, you know what I'm saying? And Love and Basketball. But like, Omar Epps has had legendary roles in movies and TV shows. He's been a solid actor for about, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? For 30 years. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna think this movie's good, then you run down Nia Long history of this movie. Nia Long has, boys, from Boys in the Hood to Friday to Love Jones. Like, the list goes on, and Best Man, the list goes on and on of how many great movies Nia Long in. And she's the producer, and I think she's part of the writing on this movie. So it's just like, you got these two big names, and then even her husband in this movie. I don't know Buddy name, but he been in a lot of stuff that's like, he been in a lot of stuff that's pretty good too. He's a solid actor too. So you think that with all of these solid actors in this Fatal Affair movie, that it would be good? Let me see. What's good, Stokes? Shout out everybody who hops on and off the live. Appreciate it. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but that movie was not good. That movie was not good to me. It had moments it just was missing. It was missing bits and pieces, and the plot. Like, one thing that stood out to me was it wasn't really a build up to Omar Epps' character. Like, spoiler alert, if you ain't seen it, I don't know what to tell you, but he was crazy. He was crazy, and there was no build up to his craziness. It was just like, they went to college together, they meet up, boom. He happens to be at her job. He's this top hacker. So it's like, you kind of already know what time it is already with him being a hacker, they having a backstory and things of that nature. So it's just kind of like, man, where was the build up? Because then it's like they meet up, they like go get drinks, and then next thing you know, they in the club. Oh, I don't want to go home, and it just, I'm sorry. I've been in enough relationships, also married, so it's just like, things just don't happen as quickly like that. And I know it's a movie. I know. You only got an hour and a half. You only got a certain amount to, grab the attention of the consumer. But at the same time, it's like, you don't want to rush into anything. You don't want to watch a movie and next thing you know, like, they just meet and then boom, here they go in this blown relationship, this big ass relationship, and now boom, now they together. Like, you don't want to see that. You want to kind of see a little build up to the problem. It was just like, as soon as the movie started, oh, They happen to sit next to each other. You can already see sexual tension between the two of them in the room. You can see sexual tension even between Omar Epps and the boss, little white old lady. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that like kind of potentially could throw it at Omar Epps. I was more intrigued trying to see like, man, what's going on with this boss? This boss trying to throw that. So it was something like, but it just went quick to that type of, like, it wasn't really no build up to a relationship, especially that you find out in their past they never were together. It was just a dude who waits in the wing. Now let me take a side note and focus on waiting in the wing. This is what I hate about some guys. This is what I hate about some guys is waiting in the wing as dudes. I believe that women have friends who wait in the wing. You know, I joke all the time about this, so don't take this super serious. But this is just my thoughts. I think that women have a guy friend who they may have never dated or done anything with, but that guy would love to do something with you. And, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason, y'all probably don't see each other like that, or allegedly somebody don't see each other like that, but is waiting in the wings. I think that dudes be, because like, let's say you dating somebody, a girl dating somebody, and everything is going good. Everything's going good. Next thing you know, it's like, next thing you know, some problems happen between y'all, and they talking, trying to get the male perspective from their friend. And the male is always going to give the best advice to the female and, always say, I'm here if you need me, all that stuff. That's a waiting in the wings type of dude. That dude is chilling there. And a little bit with going back to Omar Epps, he was kind of trying to be a waiting in the wings type of dude. He in the whole movie, he was willing to have a side relationship with her. He was willing to, he was hoping that she left her husband, and kind of fast forwarding, he had a wife. He had a wife who was supposed to resemble Nia Long. And then when she divorced him, he killed her. Cause she found a new dude. That was what was confusing too about the plot to me, is like, why would I kill my ex-wife if I only got with her to be a knockoff of the girl I truly wanted? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get with this girl because I can't have the real girl I want. We divorce or whatever. But then she moves on, and then I kill her in her dude that she with. Like, I don't get it, because what does that have to do with Nia Long? What does that have to do with Nia Long? Like, so that was something in the story. Let me see what you say. So Omar has just shot up a funeral in Chicago like he was in too deep. Nobody does. So it was, yeah, man. Like, Omar Epps has been, like I said, he's been in some really good movies. He's been in some interesting, kind of terrible movies. Like, even him replacing Wesley Snipes as Willie Mays Hayes, man. Like, I appreciate Omar Epps acting. But I just not a fan of Omar Epps in this Fatal Affair movie. Like, I just feel like in relationships, even if you run into somebody that you used to go to school with, or, you knew around the way, even if you run into that person and y'all may have had attraction or something like that, I still don't believe that it just goes from we ran into each other today, and now here we into this hot and heated moment. And then, of course, I would hope that it don't go to, to the whole damn, now you got a stalker. Because pretty much Omar Epps becomes a stalker in this movie. He follows them around. He got pictures everywhere. And because he's a hacker, he's able to hack into everybody's phone, everybody Wi-Fi, everybody, technical stuff. And he ended up killing Estelle in the movie, man. It was just like, and then one of the last things too that kind of blew me about this movie is just the simple fact that Nia Long in the movie had a daughter, and she was, going to college. She was a freshman in college, and she came home, which I don't know if she was coming home from college or for wherever she was, but because I couldn't tell what time it was. But anyway, she comes home, and then randomly she started dating a boy. You know, and the boy come over, the dad meet him. Cool. That's all good. But the girl is hanging out with this boy a lot. Normal things, right? This is a girl fresh out of high school, you know, freshman in college. So she's I think based on the movie, she had been a year. I mean, she had been a couple of months in college by now. So, because I mean, side note, one thing she said in there to a parent, like a parent was trying to set, or you know, trying to set curfew, and it was like, yo. It was like, yo, I'm in college. And it's funny because I had that same situation happen to me my freshman year. My freshman year of college, I came back. Like, so in college, we had this fall break. We had fall break. And I'm not going to incriminate any of the people that's in this story because I won't say no names or nothing like that. But they'll know the story if they run past this. They run past this on Facebook. But I come back from college. We had this thing called fall break. Or maybe it was Labor Day. Yeah, I think it was Labor Day. Sorry about that. It's Labor Day. So this is before fall break. This is Labor Day my freshman year. I come home. I get up with my friends from high school. So we all go to different schools. We all go to different schools. You know, some people stay here, some people went away, but we all are back for the holiday or whatever. So we kicking it. Next thing you know, some of these friends do some criminal activities and they get caught. They get caught. Of course, I wasn't at the location, but we went to the jail to see what was going on. And when we went to the jail to see what's going on, you know, like, I mean, if you ever know somebody who has been arrested, or if you've ever been arrested or something like that, thank God I've never been arrested. But if you know somebody who's been arrested, you go try to see about they booking, you go see about that can take hours. So it's not something like, boom, you get arrested for a petty crime or a crime. They put you in the system and now you get to go home if you got the bread, or if somebody comes here with the bread. That's not how it worked. Normally it take like a couple of hours and you sitting there and you playing the waiting game. So dumb ATO me is with another one of my friends, and we sitting there waiting. And while a couple of our friends are, you know, going through the process. So long story less long, I remember getting home and I walked in the house that day. Well, now it's the next day. I walk in the house and it's like 5:55. And the reason why I remember the time and I remember it to this day is because it's literally 5:55 a.m. And my mom has been a teacher. And my mom at the time was still working before she opened her own home daycare. She's an early childhood teacher out of school. And she usually gets up at 6 a.m. My mom has always gotten up at 6 a.m. to, you know, get us ready for school and you know, so she could be prepared and go to work. So she literally was getting up to go. She's literally getting up to start her day when I walked in the house. I walked in the house 5 minutes before the alarm went off, and the alarm in the house went off, and she was like, you just now getting home? I'm like, yeah. So we having that conversation. Like, I've said the same thing like the little girl, like, man, I be at college, man, we be out late. So I'm acting like that. I tell her the truth of what happened, which it just sound like playing it back, like, and being older now, I can see why parents be on top of kids or be like, these kids is dumb as hell and be worried about stuff. But at the time, of course, you don't realize it. But I'm telling her all these things like, man, I'm in college, I would do this, whatever. My mom was like, look, you do something like that again, I'll put you on the first bus back to Milwaukee. You'll never come back here again, type of thing. So I just was like, So thinking about the movie, I'm just like, dang, why in the world, why in the world are y'all just letting this little girl, even though she's a freshman in college, y'all letting this little girl just be free and run around with this boy? Nah, it's a little scrawny little boy, nerdy boy, but just letting him run around just didn't make any sense. So if you've seen the movie, you know that Omar Epps eventually kills this boy. He kills him, and they never really address it. The boy is sitting literally like on the deck, sitting in a chair. This is when Nia Long comes back from her office because she owned a consulting firm. So she sees her assistant, who's Estelle, the singer, dead on the floor. She then gets a call from Omar Epps, said you left him alone. And then she flies back, which is probably like a 40-minute trip. So you would think that 40-minute to hour trip, you would think that Omar Epps would have killed them. I'm just thinking realistically. I know it's a movie, but realistically, if a killer got that much time on their hand, I think that they would kill everybody. But I don't know. So she flies back home. She makes it home. She, sees that everything is off, the lights is off, whatever. So then she flips the switch, and I guess she flipped the wrong switch because the porch light, the deck light comes on, and she see the little boy just sitting in the chair dead. So I just think that this is a crazy movie. I think that it's some things that probably should have been some things that should have been fixed or probably thought out a little bit more. And I mean, I know people saying that they tired of seeing that storyline. I think that I think it's a good storyline when it's done right. Lakeview Terrace, I think Lakeview Terrace was a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's a good movie. It was a solid movie for Samuel. I think he played a good role of a guy who was it was like he was the racist guy. But he was more racist. He was more racist or hurt due to the fact that he could relate to his wife cheating on him with a white man. So it was like, it was deep rooted. So, I mean, Lakeview Terrace, and then when you have actors such as Kerry Washington and Samuel Jackson, and like I said, I can't remember Buddy name, who was her husband. But when you got people like that acting, and a solid storyline, it's a good movie. But Fatal Affair seemed like, hey man, I'm just trying to write something real quick. People will draw to this because it's drama related. It's a affair. People are intrigued about affairs and things of that nature. So let me do that. So, but I still encourage people to watch the movie because even though I'm saying it's a bad movie, it's funny bad. It's funny bad. It wasn't nothing that just was like, oh my God, this is just the worst acting ever. Because it wasn't bad acting. It was just a bad storylines. And sometimes good movies are sometimes the bad movies turn out to be good movies because of how bad the storyline is, but how you pay attention. Like, you done turn something that's supposed to be serious into a comedy. So that's how I felt like with Fatal Affair. And one of the funny things in that movie, and you will see it around, is the driver's license of the character that Omar Epps played, the face. Man, we were dying. We stopped that movie like 2 or 3 times. I mean, we stopped the movie like 2 or 3 times and just died laughing at the picture at hand. So I still encourage you to go watch it on Netflix, Fatal Affair. But yes, man, it won't win an Oscar. I tell you that. It won't win an Oscar. I wouldn't go red box this or on demand this, but you know what I'm saying? The fact that, it was part of Netflix and, hey, why not? They got a lot of bad movies on Netflix. They got a lot of bad movies. So man, but if you got about an hour and a half or 2 to spare, you know what I'm saying? I think it's something good, especially if you got a significant other to watch it with, because y'all can laugh together. Y'all can even, question the same things that I question or we question when we watch it. So So, you know, thank everybody who hops on and off the live, the Grand Fridays, episode 15. I said I ain't have nothing to talk about, but I just made 25 minutes out of that. So, but as far as getting to the music, I got 2 new beats that I did this week. I got one that I was working on, and I'm thinking I'm gonna send this to this artist from here that think he's a really great wordsmith. I talked about him before. His name is Words. So like while I was working on this one beat, I'm just like, man, I think he would kill it. So I think that's my next move once I complete that beat. I even may play a little bit of it, the idea, because right now the idea is just there. I haven't arranged it yet. But I will play 2 complete beats. So the last few weeks, me doing the show, I've been explaining about different contests that I've been a part of, which are on Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram at GrandZ32 or GrandZ32 underscore music, which is my backup page. But pretty much, it's one of the contests that I'm in weekly is, you know, it's not for no money, it's not for anything, it's for bragging rights, it's for just, out of thousands of producers worldwide making these beats, just to make it to their page, they post your beat, out of all these submissions. That's the rush for me. This just showed like, especially when we getting back into it, just to show that, I know that I make dope beats. Dope beats will get posted. So shout out to Ample Samples. I really don't know who and the Superiors. I don't know them at all. Never met them, never seen them. But I think that they have a dope contest every week called Time to Flip. So if you are on Instagram, all you got to do is search the hashtag Time to Flip, and you'll find a lot of great instrumentals from producers. You're gonna find some whack ones too. But the good thing about hashtags and algorithms is that the most viewed beats, and it's a combination of things, but the most viewed beats are usually the ones that you see up front. You know what I mean? So usually sometimes that's with higher followers, but sometimes it's just about how many people are viewing your post. And I feel good, even though I got like a little bit over 300 followers, like the views of my videos that I'm posting these beats are getting 300 to 500 views with no promotion. Like I'm not paid promoting it. It's just me using hashtags, me reaching my audience, but me reaching people that I don't know. So getting genuine new followers slowly but surely. But that's the goal. Because the reality is, when it comes to any business, like music or whatever business you starting, you want to get genuine followers. It's easy to pay for followers. It's easy to promote your business and attract people, but you got to get people who genuinely want to follow you and have a connection to you, so that you can, market and sell to them, because they will invest in the person or product that they believe in or that they ride with. So that's where, for me, it's good that it's organically happening that way. That when I started back making beats, or really started promoting my stuff, it was in the beginning of this pandemic. So if I started out at 285 and now I'm like 310, so that's a small size. But like, I don't even promote it every day. But like, just in the last, when I think about just in the last week, this week, like I gained about 12 new followers. Right. So then it's like, it's a slow game. It's a slow process. If I was pressed for money, or if it was about money, then, this would be a totally different type of conversation that I'm having with y'all. But because it's about the love or the passion of it, and that it's organically building a base, I think that's where, I'm excited about the process. And if the process takes you know, 6 months instead of 6 weeks, that's cool because it's building a brand. It's about building a brand and a genuine brand, and not just buying the support or the love, or because that's fake. That's fake. You will have people who will purchase or deal with you in that way, but it's about having people consistently interested in what you got to say, or interested in what you are marketing or selling. So, and just you being a genuine you, not doing this because, oh man, this is a cool thing to do, or doing this because you want people to purchase it. Like I started this show literally just so I could play my beats. Like that was it. Like I'm just like, hey, I've been getting back into making beats. If anybody who knew me in eighth grade or in high school or in college, if you knew me, you know that I worked on music. So and I made instrumentals and write, rap, sing, things like that. So that this is something that has been that's something that I'm not just doing out of nowhere. It is something that is my passion, and something that helps me, through life. So just to get back into the groove of things, and having the opportunity to showcase my talent and work on my craft, but just doing it for the love, and having genuine people or meeting genuine people throughout the process. And the beauty too about working from home is that you have more opportunity to do this type of stuff. But the other thing about being in this pandemic is that, like I said, you get to meet new people, you get to showcase your talent, and then you find out there's other people with dope talent, and you make you make a connection that way. So but back to what I was saying about the contest. So this first beat is part of the weekly contest that the first new beat is part of the weekly contest called Time to Flip, #Time to Flip, by Ample Samples and the Superiors. So like I said, if you go on Instagram and you go to Ample Samples page, at Ample Samples, you will see a lot of different producers posted, but you will see this beat that I'm going to play you in its entirety. You're going to hear that beat. You're going to see that beat on that page. Honestly, every week that I've made a beat, I've been posted on the page. But like I said, it's thousands of people, right? That are, there's thousands of people who are posting the beats or being a part of this challenge, but they're only posting certain producers, daily, and it goes on for a week. So today was the end of so usually it's from Monday to Friday that you can submit your submission. So I feel great that another week on their page. That means that they feeling the beat that I'm making, and it's good to know when I post it on my pages that people are feeling the beat. I got a lot of love from people that I have no idea where they from, who they are, but it feels good to be able to post something that you worked on, and and just see the reaction. Like, I don't even care if people think these beats whack. I mean, just the fact that I get to showcase something. I think every artist or every person who creates something, I think you go through a phase where in the beginning you want things to be so perfect. Even when you're creating businesses, like, you want things to be so perfect. So you're worried about how people view it. You're worried about how it comes off. You're worried about if it's going to be awesome. It's like, you just gotta, like, once you get out that phase, out that mindset, just drop it. Just put it out. There's gonna be somebody, and the beauty about social media is that there's somebody out there, fam. Somebody out there for everybody who, for whatever you do. So if you like, like, everybody doesn't like new age rap music or mumble rappers or, trap music. Some people like true lyricists. So just thinking of today, like, okay, if you don't like Gunna, the rapper Gunna, he just put out his deluxe album, Awana, today, with about 10 more records on a 15 record, already 15 album project. So he just dropped pretty much a double disc. But if you don't like that, then today you can also listen to Lupe Fiasco, and I think the the young dude name is Kellen Ellis. They just put out an EP, called House. So, and Lupe Fiasco found this kid on Instagram and Twitter, just making beats, and he's really talented. You know what I'm saying? He do his own videos, record himself, but he just be making beats, and Lupe Fiasco found him. And next thing you know, they start working on a EP together, and and now it's out today. So it's just like, yeah, it's something for everybody out there. Like whatever music you like. If you don't like hip hop, there's R&B, there's pop. You know what I mean? There's variations of all of those things, or a combination in one genre or artist. So it's just like, we got to get past the fact of, at this point, of like, man, everything got to be so perfect. Yeah, I think you should plan out. You should plan everything and create a plan and implement that plan. But don't be so hung up about people not liking it at first, or if it's just 2 people or 5 people watching you. Because if you stay consistent and you continuously get better and better and better at this, I mean, the audience should grow. I mean, you may have to do a little bit more promoting it, but for the most part, audience will grow because you dope, and people will eventually recognize your dopeness. And that's just really how it works. Like, I even think about this show, like when I think about Grand Fridays, every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Like, I did this show just because we was quarantined and I wanted to showcase my beats. I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't do the necessary things to, network and things of that nature. So I just wanted to say, hey, this is what I'm doing in my spare time, outside of work, outside of all the other ventures I'm doing and a part of. Here's beats. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about getting back into selling them. I'm thinking about getting back into doing this. So, and I was just watching my first show yesterday because I was redoing my YouTube page, and also here on Facebook redoing the page so that you can access all of the episodes, all 15 episodes, including this one, which is number 15. And I was just like, looking back on the first episodes and even the first lives that I did in March, and just looking from March till today, just the growth in what I'm talking about, how I'm talking about it, how I'm carrying myself, not afraid of, showing myself looking wild and all these things, because people care about image and all this stuff like that. I don't care nothing about that. You gonna watch me. You gonna watch me because you rock with what I'm talking about, or you not gonna watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm on here with my hair long, and like I said, I took my hat off and showed you my fro as it was picked out. Now, of course, it's mushed down because of my hat, but beard and stuff like that. Like, we're in a pandemic. I'm not going to do the most like I normally, not the most, but normally I have a low cut, and a clean baby face type of look, trim look. But hey, man, this is me. This is who I am. This is how I like to be. And that's the thing about what we have to do when we're trying to create. We just have to create it, and there'll be somebody to be out there and listen. And like I said, every week, I appreciate everybody who watches this either on YouTube or listen or watch this live on Facebook or be a part of it, from the comments to the likes to just even giving a quick 5 minutes on here. Like it because eventually it'll grow. And when it does grow, then you'll be prepared when it gets to that level. So work hard and do your best with no matter who's watching it. So like I said, it's happy hour. Cheers to everybody for the weekend. If you don't have to work tomorrow, then live it up. If you do have to work tomorrow, only have a shot here and there, have a little drink with your boy while I'm on here on episode 15 of the Grand Friday. Shout out to my brother Stokes, who be on here. You know what I'm saying? And the other half of our great podcast, Fieldy, fucking Let's Do It podcast. And I'll address that real quick because, we had, me, Stokes, and another friend of ours, we had this podcast called Fieldy, and we still have it, but I'm gonna speak about it in past tense because there's eras of it, right? So, and it's called fuck it, let's do it, but for editing purposes, it's called Fieldy, and our podcast talked about everything. Weekly podcast talked about everything. And I feel like we was kind of like trendsetters to some of the stuff that happens. And I am a firm believer that even people who are on higher levels pay attention to lower level people, especially when they make enough noise or it reaches a certain graphic. Now, again, it was a slow process of how many people would constantly listen to the show. But, we started getting, certain consistent listeners to our podcast. But because of, personal fallout here and there, the show, we got Kanye, right. So, yeah. So pretty much, because of things went left, it kind of hindered our momentum, our steam when we were doing the show. Fieldy was doing a podcast, and I'll be honest, I probably haven't even shared this with Stokes, but like to this day, I kind of like part of me feels some type of way about like, damn, we were in the midst of actually building momentum, like, and that's something where I'm talking about, like, when you finally start building something, and like I said, it's going to start off with just 2 people, 3 people listening to it, but then once it builds to 20 people, 50 people, 100 people on a consistent basis is listening to your stuff, and then you like, then somebody who just out of nowhere just messed that all up, you're gonna feel a little tight. And the beauty of our podcast was the fact that it was just 3 friends who came together from the walk of life of, college. Like I didn't know them prior to college, and I'm 2 years younger than them. So, but we just all happened to meet and happened to click, and we had very similar ideas of, what it took to, move the needle for the betterment of our people. That, I think that's like when I think of like what was the common thing that brought us together is that we were 3 individuals, but we all had the same type of goal of, of bettering society, bettering our community as African American men, and the fact that we were, all from Chicago. We all from or all from Illinois, I should say, because they from the South Side of Chicago. I'm from Maywood, but just all being from from similar areas, right? So that to me is like the foundation of where it started, and then of course, just over time of us being around each other, having similar goals and supporting one another, we grew as a brotherhood, as it should. So with that, and then just getting older, life kind of takes you from different places, different things that happens, from work to life, love lives, and all that stuff. So one of the things that made me want to do our podcast, David Ruffin wanted a limo. All right. One of the things that made me want to do a podcast was I felt like we were getting older, but we weren't we weren't spending the and I know this is gonna sound pause if anybody question but I felt like we weren't spending the necessary time together that we should as friends, because life just took you at different spaces. Like, I'll just talk about specifically me at that time. Like, I had just came back home probably about a year or so. I had just got my feet on the ground when it came to work here. So just like finally found a job that, a stability job. I had money. Had insurance. I had all the stuff necessary to be okay, right? Just a starting point. But I was working hard at that. But I also, at that same time, I also was just a young dude who had some growing up to do. When I look back in the in the scheme of when I look in retrospect, that's really what it was. Like I was more focused on being this young bachelor, trying to live it up, not trying to be nothing that I wasn't, but just trying to really grow into me, to that level of manhood. And that's just pretty much what was happening with me. But sometimes that would have me, I feel like maybe neglecting the people the most at the time. So, once I discovered podcasts around this time, it's like 2015. This is where I was like, man, okay, well, I think it'd be dope, like, to do a podcast. I think all three of us have characters. I think all three of us are funny, and got really crazy perspectives. So I thought that it would be dope to do a podcast. Also, the other member that was part of the group, he actually came first and said that we should do a podcast. We tried it in 2015 and it was cool, but we didn't do anything with it. And then early 2016 is where I came back around and I said, I think we should do a podcast. I was like, I think we should do a podcast. And, and I started forming how we can do our podcast. I was listening a lot to Joe Budden podcast. I named this podcast later was what it was called originally. So I was listening to a lot of that. Combat Jack, and my man who locked up, what's his name? Beloved. Hey, why is his name escaping me? I'm sure Stowe's gonna put it in the chat. But anyway, I was listening to those top music podcasts at the time, and I'm just like, man, we could do a podcast. We've been around each other since 2006, 7. And we got so many stories together, and wild stories that we could talk about college. We could talk about, wild, Tax Stone. Thanks. So I just felt like we could make a really dope podcast. So, and we started, and we actually did. And then the other part about it too, which was, why I love doing it, is it's cool to, like, if you could build a career or build a show that can, you can turn it into a career. But the dope part about it was just the fact that, hey, every week I know that I'm finna kick it with my friends. I'm finna kick it with my friends every single week. Around this time when we started doing the podcast, I actually had just got my house. So it was like, we always had somewhere to do the podcast. Either I was going to drive all the way out south to do the show, or they could drive all the way to me out west, to my crib, and we could do the show. But every Thursday, we would record. I believe it's Thursdays. Every Thursday we would record. So I'm just like, man, it was dope. And we had really great episodes and epic moments. But it went left. And I'll be honest, I forgot why I even brought this up. But anyway, just to talk about the podcast, I just think that we had something amazing. And when you do business with friends, you got to understand if it's business or is it friendship type of thing, and you got to know when to switch them on and off. And I think that, like, in retrospect, I feel like maybe that was part of where the ball got dropped there. And we always thought about too, maybe adding a woman, because it was 3 dudes and we were just wild at the time. But just looking back in retrospect, the show to me has been, good with me and Stokes doing the show. But even with our lives, we have two different lives happening in a great way, So, so hopefully, we can bring back the podcast and try to build a element or some type of situation like this to where we can, what'd you say? Too much sausage. All right. It was too much going on. You know what I'm saying? And even that sometimes when I look back on things, because like I'm in a different space in my life, I feel like we were too we was cracking jokes and we can crack those jokes and stuff like that. We would state that it was joking manners, but it just felt like it was too much aggression towards the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, man, or I ain't no woman basher. So like I don't want to come off that way. So just like I said, just with growing, with us, with life growing, and then with a fallout, which I never talked about on here, and I won't do it today. But with a fallout, as you can see, it's not a fallout between me and Stokes, because he's in these chats, and every week, most of the weeks you find him here cracking jokes in these chats. So, but yeah, so I just brought that up to say, like, as far as business go, one, you just gotta go, like, whatever idea you got, you just gotta go and drop it. Number one. Number two, when it comes to the podcast, I would like to get back into doing podcasts. And my thing is, I would like to get back to being consistent, like it was. I would like to get back to being consistent at doing a podcast. So like a weekly thing, similar to how I do this. And this is why I try to do it consistent. Like, even though if I ain't got nothing to talk about, I ain't played a beat yet this episode, but I'm almost at an hour. And normally, like anybody who's new, because I see I got some new people, I appreciate you for watching this live and me just talking and chilling. Hopefully you got you a drink. This is normally when we have happy hour. I usually stay on here for about an hour and a half for the Grand Fridays live every Friday, 5 p.m. Central Time, until I don't feel like doing this no more. But hey, I'm 15 weeks in, man. 15 weeks in, and it feels good. But I feel like we definitely could bring back Fieldy podcast. And I do what I do appreciate about when we do drop the episodes. If you ever seen us drop the episode, if you ever listen to one of our podcasts, especially the later episodes in the 20s, you can hear the growth. If you go back and listen to some episodes, and then you go back and listen to 20 through 25, you can hear the growth in all of us and just the conversations at hand, especially like, because I'm focused on me right now. Like, you hear the growth in me. Like, I'm cracking these crazy jokes and being outlandish, which the character of me at the time, I feel like was necessary for the show. It had to be somebody who said the most controversial things, not try to be disrespectful but controversial because it sells. But now, just because my life is not, it was a more not embellishment. It was a more, because everything I talked about was true. It just was outlandish way of explaining it or expressing it. So, but my regular life isn't like that anymore. Like I said, when we first started that podcast, I was 25. I was 25 years old, 26 years old, and I was single. I was dating. I was, being what you should be at that age. You know what I'm saying? Just wild and, saying crazy stuff, having these crazy, opinions, or, having opinions, but jazzing it up, trying to be funny. But now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 32, you know what I'm saying? And, life is totally different. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right. I was on 1,000. Right. Like I'm saying I'm going on rants all the time, and like naturally I do go on rants. You call this a rant. But you know, I go on rants, but it was just I'm like I was just shooting. Pew, pew, pew. I was just letting them go at people, you know what I'm saying? Where that's not who I am in general, nor who I am now at this point in life. So I like the growth in what we did. So we're gonna definitely bring back that show and kind of brainstorm on, you know, how we can bring it back and if we can be consistent. If we can't be as consistent as we once were at a time, then that's where for me, like it becomes a challenge in, you know, doing the show because I think that Stokes, if anybody knows Stokes, you know, like I said, we went to college together, and he just has a brilliant mind and just the comedic timing of it. So it's just like, you know, and he has his own podcast interview series that man, you should put it in the comments, Stokes, so people can check it out on SoundCloud. But he has his own individual show, just similar like how I do Grand Fridays. We have our individual platforms while we taking a break or you know from the podcast, and it's really great that he's interviewing individuals who are doing great things in the community in Chicago or just around in just different fields. And I would hate to, you know, throw that off, you know, and we can always do them all, but you know, it's just about consistency and it's about consistency. So and just building a different format, and that's something that, you know, like I said, I don't know if I've been clear enough to vocalize or share that, and it's probably not the form to do that. But you know, that's just what came to mind because I had nothing to talk about, but I've talked for literally 56 minutes. So I'm gonna play the beat that bring it back all the way back. I'm gonna play the beat, the time to flip beat for this week. I sampled Melinda from Bobby Taylor in Vancouver. So Bobby Taylor was a R&B soul artist who was signed to Berry Gordy label, Gordy Records. So anybody knows about Berry Gordy, the one of the biggest and first black big time record producers and owners. He's the owner of Motown Records. Everybody knows Motown Records, right? But he also had other labels. Yeah, something for the people. That's the interview series that that my brother Stokes has on SoundCloud. So definitely look that up and listen to some great interviews, man. Some good people are on there and some great interviews. But I sampled Melinda, Bobby Taylor in Vancouver. So everybody knows Berry Gordy from Motown Records, being the owner and creator of Motown Records. But he also had other labels that were, part of Motown, or other labels that he owned at the time. So one of the labels was called Gordy Records, and that's where Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers were signed to. Bobby Taylor is also the man who discovered the Jackson 5. I know they give the credit to Diana Ross as Diana Ross discovering the Jackson 5. No, Bobby Taylor discovered Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5, like the Jackson 5. He discovered them, and he's the one that brought them to Motown. He brought them to Motown, or brought them to Suzanne, the past, and then the rest of the story is history. Of course, Diana Ross being Berry Gordy's wife at the time, and being this superstar singer who I think she may have just left the Supremes at that time. But regardless, that's the story of the Jackson 5 and how they got on. I say all that to say, just to give you some history, because this is a music show. But Bobby Taylor, that's who Bobby Taylor is. He has hits. One of his hits is Melinda. So I sampled that and I went crazy on these drums, but I'm finna play this beat for you. Let me know what you think.
GrandZ, bitch. GrandZ, bitch.
Okay, so that was my time to flip challenge beat. This week, like I said, I sampled Bobby Taylor and the Vancouver's Melinda. Like I said, it was fun flipping that beat, man, because there's so many great sounds. Like immediately when you listen to that classic record, so many sounds like immediately that's like, man, I'm gonna grab that, I'm gonna grab that, I'm gonna grab that, and I'm gonna create, create something with it. And like I said, if you hit that hashtag on Instagram, hashtag time to flip, you're gonna hear a lot of beats where people flipped it. I feel like, I'm gonna say it. I feel like I did a really, really good job of my chops these last few weeks. And last week, so at the end of these challenges, they post like 9 beats at the end, maybe like on a Saturday or something like that. They post beats where it's just like, I believe that these are the top 9 beats that they were feeling out of all the submissions or all the videos that they may have posted. And I say I got posted twice, and then last week, like twice in a row. The first week the first week I joined it, got posted. Second week got posted. Last week I did not get posted, but I feel like last week beat was hard. And people love that beat, but I didn't get posted. And I was just like, nah, I see why I ain't get posted. I ain't, like, what I'm saying? When you make soulful beats, there's a certain sound. So if you want to listen to like Knife Wonder that produced, like Google Knife Wonder and go check out his list of beats that he's made. And DJ Premier is another producer, Pete Rock. When you listen to producers who produce like that, like, classic producers, like some of the GOATs, their beats, you know what I'm saying? They got a certain sound. And for me, I just never, and I said this on other episodes, previous episodes, I'm just not a fan of boom bap rap beats. Or like, if they done correctly, I'm a fan. If they're not done right, or just me creating them, just, I don't have that off key in me, like, because when you create those beats, there's a technical aspect of it's called a swing. So, and I explained this a couple episodes ago, so I won't go super nerd in it, but the swing gives an offset to your drum pattern or whatever sound that you want to have an offset. Normally, like when you program your beats or you program it, it gives a offset sound. So it's like if it's in rhythm, like beats are in, beats per minute, or like music is in a 4 count. Like the most popular music is in a 4 count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally things are on the 2 and the 4. Things are normally going to be on the even number, like your claps, snares, things of that nature, something that make you bob your head. Those things are usually going to be on the even number. Usually, most importantly, when I be honest, when we dance, we usually on the 2 and the 4. You know what I'm saying? That's the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? It's the even number. But when it comes to like sampling, the swing takes it off of it. You know what I'm saying? It makes it's still on the 2, but it feels like it's on an odd number. You know what I'm saying? Like I just said, beats are counted in 4, 4 count. So it feels like it's on a 3 or the 1, but it's actually still on a 2 and a 4. And like I said, you got to do it right. Like I said, I'm not here to get into no nerdy stuff about beats right this second, but I felt like, last week I should have got posted and I ain't get posted. So I was like, it's some bull. So I said, this week I'm gonna go crazy on these drums. I'm gonna make it feel like a soulful beat, and you ain't gonna ignore me. You know what I'm saying? You gonna post my beat. So they post my beat. So every week I got my beat posted out of like 1,000 submissions. But I like for the end of the week. So when the challenge is over and they pick those 9 people, I like to be a part of that, especially since I experienced it back-to-back weeks. I'm like, I want to keep the streak going. So when the streak got broken, I'm like, yo, I'm finna bring it this week. So hopefully today or tomorrow when they post that, the top beats of the challenge this week, hopefully I get chosen, because if not, I'm going to go harder next week. As a matter of fact, one of the comments because they repost your beat. So when they posted it on their page, my beat this week, one of the other producers that normally, wins and, be a part of it too, was like, man, he programmed the hell out them drums. And Ample Samples was like, word. So it's just like, because I had to know the audience. So that's another gem too. Like when you creating, whatever you creating, I'm not just talking about music, I'm talking about business, talking about podcasts, talking about anything. You got to know the audience, you know what I'm saying, that you trying to, tap into. You know what I'm saying? Or if you got an audience, you got to know what they like, what they want. And I ain't saying you got to give in to them because it's your platform. Do what you want. People, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to contradict what I said earlier. I said, there's an audience for somebody. There's something out there for everybody. So, but to a certain degree, you do want, once you build consistency and you have people consistently watching you or doing, you being consistently a part of something, you want to make sure that you cater to that. So, I felt like this week, I'm gonna cater to these other producers or to these beats that begin selected. And I'm like, they chops ain't better than mine at all. And I keep saying chops are just to give y'all some school. I be giving y'all some stuff about music. So like, go ahead and talk to your friends or talk to your significant, like go ahead and talk to somebody and be like, who be in the music, and you be like, yeah, no, so yeah, there was some nice chops. Like, and they be like, what? But like chops. So when you sample a record, one of the cool words is called chops. So instead of saying sample, I made some chops, which is you taking sounds, you pretty much chopping it up. You chopping the beat up. You taking something, taking a sound or a word or taking a phrase or a period of a record, and then you do something funky with it. So you can hear that in my beat that I just played, where this one little thing is just, it's really choppy. It sounds chopped up too. So that's what it is. Like I said, thank everybody for hopping on and off the live. Appreciate everybody who joins on to the Grand Fridays live every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time until I do not want to do this no more, or until the world opens back up and I don't have no audience on Fridays. So maybe it'll be the Grand Tuesdays or some crap. But, or until, like I said, I don't feel like doing this no more because, maybe I get busy, super busy at 5 p.m. So I played that beat, right? I got one more beat to play, y'all. And it's crazy because I said I had nothing to talk about, but I actually did write down one thing on a piece of paper over here that I was supposed to talk about, and that's verses. I never talked about verses. I talked about Fatal Affair for like 25 minutes, but never talked about verses. Snoop and DMX. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it. I literally watched it once it went off in its entirety, and I just want to say that to me was one of the best verses ever. It just brought me back to all levels of being a shorty, from being a kid, knowing the words to "What's My Name" and gin and juice, to being in 5th grade and junior high, listening to DMX, knowing Rough Riders anthem word for word, to high school thinking of Party Up and and just drop it like it's hot, to college with just all these eras of life. That's what I got from listening to that verses, and just made me think about, like, damn, I know a lot of words to X catalog, and I'm like, I don't know why I know all these words. Oh yeah, where the hood at? Yes. He definitely, man. I didn't know how, like, I wasn't a fan of where the hood at, but I like the hook. But I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of that Swiss Beats beat, none of that. But yesterday was the first time I actually listened to the words in its entirety. Woo! DMX could not put that song out today. He basically would have, he definitely would have got canceled. Cancel culture would have said X. It's a couple of songs like X. I don't know, man. It's good that you came out in 96, 97, 98. So I was listening to you then. But Money Cash Hoes, like, I used to be like, for real, this is what made me fall in love with music, and wanted to write, wanted to rap, wanted to make beats and stuff like that, was listening to, like, some verses that stood out was DMX verse on Money Cash Hoes. Like, that's one of my verses as a shorty that I used to rap. I used to listen to on my CD Walkman or on my boom box in my room. I listen to Hard Not Life all the time. It's one of the first albums I actually got the bought that had curse on it, curse words on it. So, like, I used to study that album, and just DMX verse on there, just classic. That and Jiggle What, like, them two songs as 11-year-old in my bedroom in the basement, listening to it like 3-4 times back to back, and just studying the flow, just studying everything about it. So that's what I got from the verses. Like, I know a lot of people was like, I don't see why these two would even battle each other, and it's just like, man, I don't care about the battle. I care about listening to some amazing music. Snoop Dogg is the greatest rapper of all time. Like, and his verses proved it. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest rapper as in skill, lyrically skilled rapper. I think Lupe Fiasco is the most skilled rapper. Like, bar for bar. I think Jay-Z skill-wise is the greatest rapper of all time. I think Lupe Fiasco is the best bar for bar writer of all time. But I think Snoop has really proved yesterday that he may be the greatest rapper of all time. One, the man has hits in every decade, and I mean hits. He got classic records, he got classic albums, and not only that, he is probably the only rapper who can freestyle. He's the only rapper that can truly freestyle to the beat. Like, I was just so amazed at the fact that, one, you done rapped your lyrics and did this verses, but after the verse is over, you just got your DJ, DJ Battle Cat, just, playing old school records and breaks, and you just out here freestyling and killing it. Like, DMX ain't really want to freestyle. DMX is like, man, I ain't got nothing written, man. I ain't got nothing in my mind, man. And Snoop just was killing it. Snoop just like, yo, man, go ahead and spit something, man. Go ahead and do this. So then, DMX started thinking of rhymes, and was spitting, and they was cool. But Snoop would just get on, and it's just like a vibe. It's a sway, and he just be, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that just shows levels of hip hop that I don't think another artist or rapper would do at this day and age. Like Snoop Dogg is literally like showing you all elements of hip hop. Like he ain't he's a thug. He's a thug. He's a thug, and he still bang and stuff like that, or rep it. But then he'll dance. He'll have a good time. Then he'll, still freestyling at the level and height. Like, he's the most known rapper ever. So, like, he can't go anywhere in the world and nobody not know Snoop. So the fact that he's that big, but willing to still freestyle and willing to still just have fun and all that stuff like that, even though his image is supposed to be this real tough, hard person. I just feel like, man, that separates him from all the other goats when it comes to rap. And like I said, he can still freestyle. I don't think that you getting a true freestyle from Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, you know what I'm saying, Wayne. Maybe Wayne, but I don't know. But I don't think you're getting true freestyles from rappers today. From the top rappers, whoever you got top on your list, you probably getting the nicest written verses ever. But Snoop Dogg got up there and freestyle, and he was killing it. So my hats is off to Snoop Dogg, to DMX. They had me laughing. They both are very charismatic individuals. They both are really passionate people, and they really have made soundtracks to our lives, man, when it comes to hip hop. Like, listening to Slippin' yesterday, like watching the battle and listening to Slippin' is just like man, like you can feel that, you know what I'm saying? Or the fact that DMX still knew everybody's name and, what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was crazy. Like, that to, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that to Snoop Dogg and Ain't No Fun came on, just classic records, man. So I appreciate that verses. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know what's another verses that if you did two comparisons like that I would be like, I can appreciate that. Like, that was the first time for real where I never was thinking about a battle between the two of them. I really was thinking like, yo, we finna hear two of the greatest catalogs ever. You know what I'm saying? We finna hear, Snoop Dogg arguably has the greatest catalog ever. So that's why I'm just like, I thought Versus was phenomenal. I don't know. I guess if I think about who I would want to see in a Versus, I know they're talking about T.I. If I would like to see T.I., but give me T.I. and Wayne. T.I. and Wayne sound like they were two people in their era that, that's somebody I want to hear. Or give me T.I. and Kanye. I know Kanye ain't gonna never do this, but give me T.I. and Kanye. Like, so that's somebody who I personally would like. I would like to see those two in a verses because they have similar reigns. They each of them kind of ran rap for let's say a 2 to 3 year period apiece. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wayne run was a little bit longer than 2 to 3 years, but just in theory, if you think about it, like Kanye, T.I., and Wayne were the top rappers from 2004 to just the three of them together, probably 2004 to about 2009. So about a 5 year period. Each of them probably had a moment where they were the king of rap during that time, before Wayne just kind of ran with it, and then Wayne went to jail, and then of course came Aubrey from Canada. You know what I'm saying? Before the Drake reign starts. before the Drake rain starts. But yeah, man. So I just appreciate the verses. So it was dope. This R&B beat, because I'm gonna get up out of here in a second. We had a 1 hour and 19 minutes roughly. Like I said, I'm normally here to about an hour and a half. So I got one more beat that I made on the 18th. This is an R&B beat. I've posted it on here on Facebook this week. I posted it on Instagram. I've got like I said, a good following on both my pages, about 400 apiece. So that's 800 impressions in a week, man. So that's dope between the two pages. So I think that that's pretty good without paid promotion and just using hashtags. So I encourage people, like, whatever you posting about, if it's justice for Breonna Taylor, use these hashtags because you'll draw more attention to people. You know what I'm saying? If it's, you got products that you're trying to sell, if you got music you're trying to get people to listen to, use these hashtags, man, and find out which hashtags appeal to people or will draw, people. And one last advice I give this week is, and I learned this from somebody else, is that it's a time in which you need to post things. And one of those things is mornings. Mornings is a good time to post. And the time frame is 7 to 9 a.m. And that's central. That's central. That's central. So central time, because this is where, when people are still traveling to work. People are still traveling to work, and even though we're working from home, most of us may have transitioned to working from home. You still have to get up, and you still naturally do the same things. You get up, maybe wash your face, brush your teeth. You know what I'm saying? Or go to the toilet. And what do you do when you're on the toilet? You pull out your phone. You look at social media. So, and because you do that, the time, it hasn't changed. Even though we're not going to the office, it still hasn't changed for most people. People are still doing that. So that's why, if you're gonna post stuff on social media, you're gonna post. The more people, especially as far as algorithms, the more people that can pay attention to it, it's gonna be in the mornings. So post in the mornings. Try to stay away from Thursdays and Fridays, or you can also post in the afternoon when people get off. It's 3 to 5 p.m. But that's, I believe that's usually Eastern time. So figure that out for wherever you are. But that was something that I learned in different posts and different people who are really known about this and really about this, this influence in life, or this social media marketing life. So I thought I would share that, give you free game out there. And I'll say, for me, for sure, that is, I definitely notice a difference when I post something in the daytime than I do at night. I notice a difference between when I post at the beginning of a week than I do at the end of the week. So that's just free game. But this R&B beat, it's kind of like a Chris Brown vibe. I'm going to get into it. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you can hear these beats clearly too, because I'm playing it from the speaker instead of from the phone like I've been doing the last few weeks. But I mean, I'm literally right by my speaker, so it should be clear enough. But let me know what you think.
GrandZ, bitch. GrandZ, bitch.
Thank you.
my beat, my the first beat I played just started playing again. So that was R&B beat. What's good? What's good? Wiley, what's good with you, bro? I hope everything is good. John Wiley also has he's the creator of Radical Revolution clothing. So please look him up on here on Facebook. You can look him up just by searching Radical Revolution. You can also follow him on Instagram. But yeah, the R&B beat, man. Like I love. That's probably one of my favorite R&B beats that I made. Honestly, just because of that vibe, it's just so sexy. It's just a so sexy record. It has that beginning, like kind of like a Chris Brown feel, but then like after that second verse, it breaks down into that type of feel that just make you move your shoulders, make you just want to dance, man. But just like make you want to salsa, make you want to do like, you know what I'm saying, some seductive moves, man. So yeah, I made that beat on the 18th. And just, you know, I think I guess my process with that beat was once I had made the melody, like the piano, then, you know, I try to find a bass. Like I've been lately when making these beats is that I've been in the mood of trying to create a bass line, like get a really great bass line that's undeniable and try to build around it. Like I really got like this dope drum pattern and this amazing bass line, but I'm having problems of finding melodies, you know, creating melodies that just complement this so well. And it's like a soulful feel, like an Anderson .Paak type of feel. And I'm honestly thinking about reaching out to this producer I talked about last week. You know, this young producer from Chicago who kind of lives in San Francisco. I'm thinking about reaching out to her to collaborate because I think she's just a dope artist. She's like, I don't know, she's like between 19 and 22 years old, but she's just like amazing at what she does. She makes some fire beats and she's cold on these keys. And I know that if I can tell her what I'm looking for, I believe she can give me a dope melody to go with this cold bass line I created and this cold drum pattern I got, and then can start shopping this soulful beat around, because there's a lot of dope R&B soul singers that I know and that I'm like around or not around, but like nearby or been around. So it's like, you know, I would really like to kind of venture out. Like if you notice, you've been watching this show every week at 5 p.m. Central on Facebook Live, or you've been watching the playback on Facebook or watching it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, you know that I've been playing variety of beats. So like I make everything. I don't just I make every type of hip hop beat, every type of R&B beat. It's not one style of record that I make, and that's just because over the years of doing this, you just gotta be flexible. You gotta really learn how to, you know, the more creative you are, and is the more opportunity there is out there to get placements. So, you know, just over time, like I started out making sample beats. So to go from sample beats to, you know, really start creating your own beats, you know, one, it creates more money in your pocket and you don't have to pay out samples, but it just gives you versatility. So but I just like with the beat that I just played, it's just one of my favorite R&B beats that I made. It just gives a vibe that I just love, just real seductive and sexy. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody who jumped on and off the live this week. We are at an hour and a half. Normally, like I said, I do this show for an hour and a half, and try to not go over that. This has been you know, like I said, I had nothing to talk about at all, nothing at all written down in sub verses on this sheet of paper. but somehow, some way, you know, came up with, you know, an hour and 30 minutes of talking and only 5 minutes of beats. So hopefully next week I got some beats. I got more beats to play you and less talking. But I think this was a good one. So man, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers, have a drink. Cheers to everybody to the weekend. Be safe out there. Corona still exists. Watch some scrimmage NBA. That's something I've been doing too. So if you like the NBA or baseball's back. So you can watch some baseball. NBA is back. You can watch scrimmage games on NBA TV, or you can wait till next week when it's back on ESPN, TNT, NBA TV, all those big stations. So it's good to see that some things are coming back. It's a little bit different, but hey, man, at least we got something. And like I said, man, be safe. Love. Until next week, episode 16 next week. This is episode 15 of the Grand Fridays Live. I'm out.